Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Korman Productions with my co-host Stacie, and we got special guest star Reid Price here with us. Reid Price being from the show that we cover from. He also does Sullivan's Crossing, and he made a couple appearances in the show The Sinner with Bill Pullman. Reid, it's great to see you. It's great to have you on board.
Thanks for having me here, folks.
Of course, it's an honor to have you. And we understand you had a birthday this weekend.
Oh, shoot, I did, yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. July 8th.
Happy 38th birthday. How does it feel?
Well, I wish it was still 38.
I did my math
Did
wrong?
you find some bad information?
No, I bet you there is something wonky online there. I think I've seen it before too, where it said I was born in 85 somewhere or another.
Yeah, that's what I read. It was 85. That was the only information I could find.
I was born on a beautiful day, July 8th, 1983, and I just had my 4th.
Okay. All right. So you're
About our age.
yeah, pretty much.
There you go.
All right. You want to lead us off with some questions?
All right. So first question.
Sure.
If you landed in FROMville,
Mhm.
would you pick Colony House or the town?
I'd pick the town.
That'd be my choice as well. So how much do you feel like you're like the character of Tom? Do you consider yourself a philosopher?
Yeah, actually, I've always been a bit of a philosopher, but unknown, just with the way I think about things my whole life. But lately, I'd say the last probably 4 or 5 years, I've begun to appreciate philosophy a little more acutely and a little more understanding of specific philosophers and their thoughts. And so when I found out that Tom was a philosopher, it was really interesting for me because I was just starting to really explore philosophy, like a very secondhand time. And so in that regard, I see myself a lot in Tom, or maybe even more so a lot of what I maybe wish I could be more if I really did focus on philosophy in my earlier days. So there are certainly fragments of me in Tom as it relates to philosophy for sure. And it was so exciting to see that on paper when they revealed who he was, a little bit of his background, because like I'm sure other people have said in interviews, we kind of find out too, we don't find out everything about our characters. They don't tell us things that we don't need to know. So it's nice to
Right.
into these things or not stumble into these things, but have these things revealed. Tom being a philosopher and a teacher at USC for a while, maybe right before he came to Fromtown, I don't know, but that was really cool to find out. And any character I play, I try to put a little bit of myself in him, or as much as I can get away with. That kind of makes the role of acting a little bit easier. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I thought it was really cool that Tom was a philosopher, and I'm a little bit of a philosopher myself.
Do you have a favorite philosopher?
No, I can't say that I have any favorites, but I've seen a lot of Carl Jung stuff that's popped up.
Okay.
That started actually when I was doing a little bit of a deep dive without planning on it into the movie The Shining. I'm a big fan of that movie, and some of the theories have pointed to some of his philosophies, and then I started kind of learning a little bit about him in particular. But there's a lot. I just started learning, but actually it's another Carl I just started learning about, like literally an hour or two ago. Something popped up from him and it was interesting. I can't remember his last name now, but yeah. I have my moments in my spare time where I go down these roads and I think to myself often, well, if I was to go back to school, maybe I'd be interested in taking economics and philosophy. These are things that I did not have a deep interest in when I was going to college, when I was an art student and
That's cool.
fine arts and 3D art. So I suppose all things philosophy are slightly left or right of really anything someone pursues when you really think about it.
So what got you into acting?
Well, I suppose in a roundabout way, it all started in grade 5 when I played Goofus in the lead of Goofus and the Golden Goose.
Oh, okay.
But did a couple plays in elementary school, had a blast, absolutely loved it, had a decent aptitude for it, really enjoyed it. And then high school, I was probably too cool for school to really pursue acting at that time, even though I still enjoyed it a lot and did some acting classes, but never performed in plays or anything like that. So I was really focused on sports during those days. But Then in my, I'd say early adulthood, in my mid-20s, I started doing stand-up comedy. I was a stand-up comedian for about 7 years and had a blast doing that. And in doing that meant a lot of friends that were acting, and it might be background acting or acting in roles. My first time on stage, the comedian told me, there's more things you can do than just stand up. You can get in film and this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay. Are you trying to tell me I'm terrible, or that maybe I should do this? Turns out it was a wonderful advice. I kept that close. And the guy's name was Sam Easton, that did that, hilarious comedian. I started doing some background acting after I got into stand-up for a few years. I was still working in the video game industry at that time. I still do actually develop video games. And we started doing independent stuff where we'd be acting and doing funny stuff. I did a Toronto Blue Jays podcast where I'd play goofy characters, and I was doing background work for television shows. So I was getting closer and closer. I'm like, can I do this? Is this? I'm getting
Well, apparently you can.
Yeah, I'm surprising myself. So it's been so amazing to truly explore it and now be in it.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful, so pumped about all that. It's so fun. It's one of the most fulfilling things I've ever been able to do in my life. The challenge is amazing. The nerves are something you have to embrace, and then every day is like climbing a hill and you feel fulfilled. And then you have the wonderful opportunity now lately for people like yourself to see these shows.
Oh, absolutely.
Really makes it feel really nice and rewarding and humbling. And yeah, so a bit of a roundabout way. And I hope to continue to grow as an actor and keep on doing this, because I've kind of, I talked to my mom when I was around 30 saying, you think I can do this? You think I can get into acting? And bing, bang, boom, I'm getting lucky and it's working out.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great. Besides Tom,
Mhm.
which character in From do you think that you are most like, and why?
Oh, great question. Let's see. I think with a lot of certainty, I'd be the most like Kenny. Yeah,
Okay.
Deputy Kenny. I could see myself being good friends with him in From Town if it was my real self in that town. I think he takes on responsibility, steps up to the plate. I like to think I do that. I like to think I take chances on things, and I think people over the years have often seen leadership qualities within me that I've kind of been like, oh, okay, if that's a part of the personality that you see, then let me see what I can do to help you. And I see Kenny doing that a lot in From Town, right? Like Boyd saw a spark in him and said, yeah, I need you to be my right-hand man. And I could see myself being that guy too. I could also see myself being kind of, how do I say this? I don't mean to pump my tires how I say this, but kind of being the sweetheart with a girl I might like in the town, like Kenny does with Christy. And
Yeah,
is it soft, not too aggressive, but putting the vibe out there, if you will. I could see myself playing that a lot like he does. Maybe a little too laid back for his own good, but a good guy nonetheless.
yeah. Kenny is actually one of my favorite characters. I mean, other than Tom, of course. But he's probably the character I relate to the
Yeah.
most.
You've
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah, and I've said that in the podcast here and there.
Oh, no.
So did you know the whole time that they were planning on killing off Tom when they did, or did you find out when the script came out, or when did you learn that?
I didn't know. And I found out on my birthday last year.
Oh,
That sucks.
It was exactly a year ago. Yeah, it honest to God, it's all good. It wasn't that bad. I took it in stride. So it was my birthday. I was out with my girlfriend, and her sister and her boyfriend were in town from Montreal, and we were finishing a steak dinner. That's my jam. I steak dinner on my birthday. And I got a message, came through from my agent, and I looked at the phone and I held it up and I leaned over and showed my girlfriend. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
So, I told her quickly, I'm like, this is all good. It's all good. Like, and I mean this, guys. I'm so thankful and humbled to be a part of that show. And then my next thing was not like being upset. The night was so far from ruined. It was, I don't know how I handled it so well, but I did, honest to God. And then my next thoughts were like, okay, well, how are they going to do it? I was looking forward to what I was going to do.
yeah.
How am I going to be taken out? And my big thing was that what I would say to myself and to my girlfriend, who actually is a makeup artist on the show,
Yes.
I'd say, I just hope they do Tom justice and however they do this. And in this crazy From world, who knows what's really happening or what's gonna happen. So, you know, we're all dead and we're all in this world, but who the hell knows what's going on? So I was really optimistic and excited to see what we'd have to do. And when I read the script, I was like, okay, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Little quick into the season. But you know, I'm quite claustrophobic. So I'm like, okay, here's another challenge. And we went and got it. So yeah, I found out on my birthday last year. So exactly a year and a few days ago. And,
Wow.
yeah, and I did not know I was going to die. The bartender was always kind of written as a character that was in the town. I don't know if he had a predisposed story, but he was a support system within the town. So I think they were continuing his story as the story progressed as well.
Yeah.
Being on the outside of the main cast, you know.
Right. And on that same vein, did you know right away that they were bringing you back for the finale, or did they tell you that later?
I think it's okay to say that I wasn't sure, but I was optimistic, and seeds were planted to, I wouldn't say for me to be waiting for that call, but like we knew it was a possibility. My agent and myself knew it was a possibility. So I think I did a good job of being ready without worrying about it. You know, you really have to. Oh my God,
It seems like in this world, we could see anybody again at any time, really.
Yes, absolutely. And I, boy, was I excited to see that I was back for the finale in such a pinnacle episode. And I was like, okay, this is going to be like several episodes without Tom. I really hope this has an impact on the audience. I want them to care. That's, you know, my ego as it relates to being able to portray this character. I want y'all to care. So I'm like, this is a good amount of episodes that people should be like, holy shit, it's Tom. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And then to have the opportunity to play that scene with Jade, aka David Alpay, was wonderful. And then I read the dialogue and I'm like, this is really nice, man. We're gonna crush this. And we went over our lines a couple times on a telephone call before we shot, and we felt good, and we went in there, and I think we're both happy with how it turned out. And it was so nice to get that call back. You know, we're always a part of FROMily, if you will. And
right.
we say that on set too, amongst ourselves and producers and showrunners and whatnot, and writers. And so yeah, I had that told to me a couple times during the whole thing.
Well, since we just talked about that scene with Jade, I have a question that my co-host doesn't necessarily want me to bring up because she's a little worried that you're not going to be able to answer it. But do you have a solution to the trolley problem that your character brought up?
That's a cool question. As Reid Price, do I have a solution to it? Yes, I do. You have to take out one person. Okay. Save the many and sacrifice the one. Yes, and that has to do with morals, and that also has to do with fate, if you will, and not interrupting certain things that are on the road to happening. Gotcha. What a horrible, tough decision, place to be in, but what a philosophical study. Like, it's an interesting question. Yeah, man, it could be a whole podcast on that question.
Right. All right, circling back to the beginning of our story a little bit, do you think that Tom shares any of that responsibility for Frank not making it home that first night?
Oh yeah, good question too. And I don't think Tom does. I would, as Reid, for sure. I would bear some responsibility. Be like, come on, man. Tom doesn't, and I think he has his philosophy and his down-to-earth aspects of his character have enabled him to let people make their own decisions and him be cool with that. So he showed a concern when it was too late for Frank. Come on, man, you got to get up, man. Lauren's gonna kill you.
Didn't cut him off.
Yeah, I bet you that wasn't happening so much earlier. That was probably just an inkling of care that come out of him at the last minute. And then it's like, okay, man, I assume you got your house taken care of. Between you and your wife, you guys are safe and you can stay here like a drunken fool. I'm sure we've drank there lots of times. I'm sure it wasn't new for Tom for him to be drunk there on the floor. So I don't think Tom bears any responsibility in that. I don't think other characters would be wrong if they said, hey, Tom, you should be better. But morally, I don't think it's great. But as Tom, the character, I think he didn't really give a crap. And I think that him and Frank were pretty good buds. I bet you they got drunk together and had quite a few philosophical chats. And that was probably somebody he could, have his discussions with, similar to how Tom has discussions with Jade after Frank was gone.
Yeah, that'd be great to see in a flashback. It's more of them together.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, man. I bet you we do karaoke there. I bet you we play darts. I bet you we have stand up, and I bet you then all of a sudden we get into the deep chats about the trolley problem. And
Hey, can I join in?
Absolutely.
I've done some karaoke in my time.
Yeah,
I'm not very good or anything, but
Come on down, man. We got
You have to get stuck in from town first.
I'm all for it though. I'm good. Rent's pretty cheap, so
Everybody's welcome in From Town. Everybody knows your name too.
yeah, kind of like Cheers.
That's right.
So why do you think Tom didn't go to Colony House to witness the radio tower in this?
I think Tom is a bit of an enigma throughout the fandom. I think people were rather frustrated with Tom and characters who didn't show too much gumption and get up and go. But I think Tom was misunderstood as rather than being careless. I think he was a pretty smart individual. I think he knew right away that this wasn't a good idea. But much like he let Frank, played by my buddy Bob Mann, he's a beauty. As much as he let him have his drunken foolishness and not take care of his family, I think he let people explore this radio. The philosopher in him doesn't mind seeing people do things. Go ahead and try. Philosophy is all human study essentially, but I as Tom don't need to be a part of you trying it. But as he observes from a distance, he'll learn a thing or two from what people do. He just knows he doesn't need to be a part of it. I think it's rather intelligent and protective in that regard. But he is very moral when it comes to helping people, though, as we saw with Tabitha and the Hole and Jim. So he can step into I wouldn't call it heroic. I would call it proper from Tom. He found the radio tower to be rather silly, I think.
Yeah, my view was that Tom is like kind of jaded in that he's been here for a while and he's seen a lot of people attempt things. He even expressed that to Jade at one point. So I kind of got the feeling that his philosophy was more along the lines with Donna, in that Donna's not trying to escape. She's trying to basically make a life for herself here, as opposed to someone like Boyd who's trying to get out. Do you kind of feel like that's where Tom is?
Absolutely, but I don't think I would describe it as jaded, though we could come to the same conclusion with sharing the same thoughts within that discussion. But I wouldn't describe it as jaded so much as I would describe it as he's deduced from a lot of information and a lot of experience and put together his philosophical background, as elementary as that may be. We don't know how deep it is, and just understands. I think it's an intelligence rather than a something that's a little mentally wonky, a little bit of a prude, if you will, or jaded. Yeah, I think he's pretty intelligent.
So some people were suspicious in the first season because of his lack of involvement with the tower that he might be the mole. I never thought that, but what did you think before you knew anything?
Yeah, were you surprised to see people saying that, or did you expect that?
I was surprised, and it was really cool to see. Look, I've been a part of a lot of different projects and things where we've put stuff in the public eye and people haven't given a damn of what we've worked on for so many different things. And to be a part of From and have people care and come up with these ideas is really, it's quite thrilling to be a part of that, and to see people come up with these ideas specifically for a character that I made. Like, that really became a part of the whole lore of the show after season 1, was what's the deal with this bartender? And no, I didn't see that coming. I thought he was a bit more of a fly on the wall that could help progress the story as the episodes go on and be a part of the fabric of that town. And then he really evolved into something that was on a lot of people's mind. It was really fun to see and interesting. But no, I never thought that would happen. And I never thought that Tom was a mole. No, I thought he was very grounded and very sharp and very laid back. And we also come to learn in later episodes that he seems to be quite righteous. And I don't think somebody like that would take on the mole position unless he were coerced or had to be righteous in taking on a position, if you will, that he would probably loathe and not want to do. But yeah, it was really cool seeing people guess about Tom and him being the mole. But Tom's just chill, man. Tom's just chill.
So would you have rushed in to help Jim in the basement the way that Tom did?
No, not. I love.
Man is honest.
Yes. No, I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it though, but I would have gathered way more intel. I would have been more like I would assume Boyd would be in that situation and his wife, and let's be a little bit more tactical about this.
Right.
You know,
just diving in.
Yeah. Tom's been in this town for a while. I know quite a bit about him, and I have quite a few assumptions about him that I'm sure are fairly accurate. And I thought it was really cool when I had that conversation with Jade. Tom had that conversation with Jade in episode 10 of season 2, where he said, I would do it again. Tom says, I'd go in there again. It wasn't about putting myself in danger or not. It was doing what I felt was right. Reid, myself, I think what would be right would be to be like, whoa. We're really going to calm everybody down. We're going to get in this diner. I might go to the top of the stairs of that basement and peek down and have a quick convo with Jim and be like, bro, what is going on, man? There's a hole in the floor of the, there's a hole everywhere. This is not, I got to be careful. Okay. I've lasted in this town quite a while for being careful and not rushing into things. So I think myself, I would be taking my time, man. But I like to think I'd rise to the occasion if I really did need to get in there. But I would have gathered a lot more information first. I might have been down there a half hour later.
One of the questions I was going to ask, and you kind of touched up on it, is like Tom comes down the stairs and he sees this giant hole in the basement. What is Tom thinking at this point?
Yeah, so 2 holes, right? Hole above him in the main level floor. That's the craziest part. And then a hole that's way bigger than it should be in the basement floor. Tom's thinking, there's something supernatural here going on. This is not normal, man. And and if it was me, I'd be like, get out of there right now, man.
That's what I would do too.
Have a team meeting in the backyard. Okay. Your wife's not there right now. She might be like, let's cross our fingers, team meeting. So yeah. But I think Tom, though, in that situation was moved by by Jim's energy, and Jim's he had to save his wife, and Tom tapped into that energy and was like, I'm with you. He was with him until it was time to not be with him. And Jim's stubborn ass stayed down there while we were all trying to get out.
Do you think that Jim or Tabitha has any culpability in Tom's and in Brick's death?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I think it's not new. It shouldn't be new news to the townspeople that you should be really careful in what you attempt within that town. And somebody like Tom, who's very accepting of his situation, isn't energetic about getting out of there. He's not energetic about finding things. He's energetic about making good hooch and chilling at his bar. That's his comfort. So him seeing Tabitha digging down there, he was like, whatever, here's your pickaxe. Good luck. Everyone ends up back at the bar though. Yeah.
Do you think they should be punished for the role?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that you shouldn't be able to do that haphazardly within the town, especially on your own, of your own volition. You got to be working as a team because you do not know what this town's going to throw at you.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about filming those basement scenes. What was that like?
Yeah, that was cool. That was my first time being in studio for From. Most of the interior stuff, if it's not the main level of a house, the upstairs or downstairs are in studio. So it was cool for me to be in studio for the first time. Really cool to see, like we had to walk up to get to the basement levels of the studio space where they dug a hole. And what was extra cool was I got to do a little stunt. I got to be a part of the stunt crew for when the house comes down and I go flying and the guys and Brick goes flying and Randall has to jump up the stairs and climb up. There was mine was the least dangerous, so they said you can do this. And so being a part of filming that stuff and also doing a little stunt, but more importantly, getting to watch everybody else do a stunt really while I did my little thing was really cool. Then when we were under the collapsed house, I was concerned for my own well-being because I'm quite claustrophobic. I had a bad experience with an elevator not too long ago, and that stuff tweaked my brain. And I wasn't stuck in it very long, but something happened, and wouldn't you know it, Mr. Me, that's not really afraid of anything, had a hard time in close spaces. So I let John know in a conversation, John Griffin, and then he let Jack know. And so he was like, that's really good that you told us, man. We want you to be comfortable. I said, I'm glad it just came out organically in this conversation because I could have so easily kept it to myself. And then all of a sudden we're in the middle of a take and I'm screaming. And maybe
That would not have been a good situation for sure.
Yeah, maybe they could use it, maybe they couldn't, who knows? But I'm glad it came out organically, and I appreciate the care from John in particular in that conversation. And then Jack Bender also had a conversation with me on that day. I appreciate him being aware of that and letting me know, like, we want you comfortable. That's how you do your best work, and that's what's important to everybody's safety and comfort. So being in there went pretty well. Yeah, and then when it was a dead Tom outside, disemboweled and whatnot, we actually shot that twice. We shot that outdoors once, and then we did a reshoot indoors in studio. So there's a bit of a combo of indoor shots and outdoor shots that comprise that sequence. And that's where I was really scared of the claustrophobia. And I'm not going to lie, I took a little pill, a little prescription drug that helps people relax. And I was very relaxed, but I didn't have to do much acting. So it worked out really well. Yeah.
How long were you down there, like in the trapped scenes? How long did that take to film?
Those took, I think 2 days, maybe 3 days, where we were trapped. Yeah.
So a long time of just laying there.
Yes. Oh, yes. And it was hard work. I'm telling you, it was hard work because being in those positions for a long time was tricky. And when I was leaning back to try to reach for Brick, and of course we have to do these scenes over and over again and get all the different angles. I was reaching back for Brick over and over again. And I, in and out of these small spaces, and, I'm 40 now, right? I'm feeling it a little bit. And I get home and I'm all bruised up my side. And I'm like, man, we worked our butts off today. Like that was a lot of work. I think it was 2 days we did that.
Oh, wow. 2 days.
Yeah. And
how long were the hours?
They'd be roughly 12-hour days.
Wow.
Roughly. That's probably around average, probably 11, 12-hour days.
So
yeah.
Out of, both seasons, what was your favorite scene to shoot that Tom was in?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Dead Tom was really cool because the anxiety that comes with being an actor that I mentioned earlier, that is a part of that we have to fight through every time for having to remember our lines and try to be great. And then once you climb that hill, you feel good and rewarded. So you're glutton for punishment. And you do it again. Being Dead Tom and in the hole came with it. A great challenge because of my claustrophobia, but at the same time, it was wonderful because I didn't have to remember any damn lines. So it still ended up being a nice mix and a challenge because the sun was blazing when we did the outdoor shoot. And Chloe did a great job of checking in on me, being like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I need a little bit more time because I got to keep my eyes open and I'm staring right at the blazing summer sun. And That was cool to shoot. Maybe not my favorite, but cool. And I had to get my body casted and everything. That was all new experience. And the special effects guys, Patrick and his team were wonderful, and makeup people and assistants were making sure not too many flies fell on my face, and I had to get people to itch for me on the face. That was great. And shooting with Jade is always wonderful. I love shooting with Dave, and I think we got a really nice thing going on, nice rapport on and off set. So I think that was my favorite, was shooting with Jade. Anytime I get to shoot with Jade, I had a great scene with him in episode 5 of season 1, and a great scene with him in episode 10 of season 2. So that was my favorite, and being dug in the hole was the coolest.
Yeah, I was actually curious if you were actually physically present for that scene, or if they like made a dummy of Tom of you.
Oh, I was there the whole time, 2 different times.
Wow.
That was actually when we reshot it. They did my makeup a little bit different on the reshoot, and they positioned me a little bit different, but I think they may have used parts of both. But on the reshoot was December 12th. I remember it. We did the reshoot on December 12th in studio. And that was kind of cool because it ended up being the very, very, very last thing we shot for season 2 was actually me, which was actually for episode 2. So they came back and covered. So it was really nice to be a part of the last scene where the big clap and everybody did it. And I'm crawling out of the hole, being like, oh, dear God, yay, okay, where's the shower?
Nice. So I was going to ask you this question. I think you kind of already answered it. Is who was your favorite person to work with? And and you said you really appreciated working with Dave.
Yeah, I love working with Dave. Smart guy, cerebral guy. We have really nice conversations on and off set. I grabbed pizza with him last season after we did our last scene, which was really nice. And we talk tech, and we talk interesting things, and future of tech, and some simulation stuff this, and new technology that, and graphics engine this. And I can just appreciate he's a thoughtful smart guy, and he can pull, you can tell he can pull from a lot of different areas of expertise, and be able to carry a conversation in those regards, which I can really appreciate, because I come from the video game world, and it's nice to nerd out with people outside the industry on some of those things. I love working with Jade. Boyd, I didn't get to work with Harold too much in scenes. I had one scene with him, but I love seeing him on set. It was wonderful to get to know him a little bit more outside of work and on set. And Harold feels like a family man. He reminds me of my family, so many different people, and it's a real pleasure getting to work with him, and more so get to know him. We get to watch these guys and learn so much, man. See, they're so great, and I'm getting rolling pretty good. And I step on set and I see all these little things they do, and my brain's writing all these things down, and you get better just by being around these people.
Yeah. Is there someone that you didn't get any screen time with that you wish you could have?
Oh, I was dying to have more time with Harold. I would have loved to have had some bar scenes with Harold. That would have really made my day. Also, Kenny, Ricky, he's a guy. I really like his personality and his goofiness and his funniness, and I can really relate to that. And we had some nice conversations on set, and he's a thoughtful guy, and he's an empathetic guy, and he's a good listener. And I'm telling you, these days, connecting with good listeners is really valuable, and it really stands out to me when people are great listeners. And I try to be a good listener, and I really appreciate Ricky listening. And then he'd ask questions. We talked about some rather important stuff while we were all in waiting, and I really appreciate those conversations. And he's goofy and funny as hell, so I'd love to see how that translate in more scene time with him. And I got a minute with Ellis in season 1, and it was great. It was so great to work with Cortion, and we were like, man, brothers got to stick together. We only had a little bit of time here, man, but let's appreciate it. I'm like, that's right. We're gonna appreciate this. So, yeah, those few people come to mind for sure. But yeah, I'm thinking about everybody now, and I don't want to cop out and say
it's a big cast, right?
Yeah, they're all great.
So yeah, it was so awesome to see you back in the season 2 finale. Like we were very excited.
Oh yeah,
we saw your
super
name.
excited.
I love that.
And one of the things, we've been tossing around since we talked about that episode is who is this character? Is this the ghost of Tom? Is this Jade's imagination? Is it just some from entity? Is there an answer to that question that you can tell us? Or like, what's your opinion?
Oh, I could only have an opinion. They do a wonderful job of not letting us know what we don't need to know. So I will say, to give a little bit of, I suppose, more insight into how that scene was handled was, I got the script. I knew I was called back, if you will, to be a part of this. And I was excited. I had to let my hair grow out a little bit more before they brought me back. I was trimming it down for Sullivan's Crossing, which we were shooting at the same time. And, but that was all good. And I got to set, and I loved the script, and I read the script, and I looked at it. I'm like, okay, all right. So is he dead, alive, spirit, thought, premonition? Is he more? I've heard some people guess maybe him and other people like Abby and Father Kotri are like the boy in white is using them somehow, I've heard. And when I went into that scene, what I wanted to get at is that I wasn't told anything. I wasn't told how to, and this is a good thing. This isn't because of a lack of information. They should have told me more. This is great. I wasn't told anything. I wasn't told how to behave. I wasn't told how to handle certain situations. I wasn't told what I should touch and what I shouldn't touch. Well, I was directed for that a little bit for the sake of the scene, but so my thing, without asking any question, was show up and be Tom, and I sure was Tom. And when I think of that, and when I think of them not really alluding to what this may be, but we all know what From is without knowing nothing at all. This conversation Jade has with Tom could be anything. And I like to think, how do I say this without, look, I don't know nothing, man. We don't know nothing.
Right.
But I don't think it's just a ghost. And I'm rather convicted in that thought. But now this is a little bit annoying because of follow-up questions. Obviously, okay, and what the hell do you think it is?
Right.
And that's when it gets annoying, because I'm like, I'm not.
I don't know.
Sure.
Well, I think the answer to whatever Father Kotri is the answer to what Tom is. I don't think Abby's connected, though. I don't believe that was actually Abby in the finale.
She feels different. Yeah, I don't trust her
Mm.
as much as I trust the others. Now, I found Father Kotri to be I don't know if he got stubborn since he died, but I found him to be a little more. I found his personality to be a little bit different. His words were quite harsh, which I thought was interesting. That like maybe something's changed within whatever this version of Father Kotri is. While I found Tom very, very Tom in the writing. So I wonder, man, but I don't think it's just Dead Tom, though I love that name. I've now discovered that Dead Tom was a character in Muppets. What's it called? Muppets, when they're out on the ships and the pirates and stuff. There's a Dead Tom character. So somebody shared me a picture of Dead Tom. I said, who is this Dead Tom from the Muppets?
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that reference either until that thread.
Yeah, but I love that. I like that. And I kind of like hearing Dead Tom all the time. Yeah.
So is there any potentiality? I mean, of course there is, but do you know of any possibility of you coming back for season 3?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything in specifically. I don't think anybody has. We have the writer strike that's continuing, and
We also have the actor strike.
that might, the actor strike, and but they're geared up and ready to go. So, well, you know what I mean by ready to go. They're geared up and working on being ready to go. Same thing with a similar thing with Sullivan's Crossing and so many other shows. But I haven't heard anything in particular. I think I will be waiting like a ball player and ready to say, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play anytime, much like I got the tap on the shoulder for Tom's return in episode 10 of season 2. So I think there is a convention in place where these discussions happen with people who are in another realm, if you will, characters that are in another realm or are dead or who knows. And I think that convention is there. I think it works really well. so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. Of course, I
Mhm.
want him to come back.
But we have so many questions still about Tom, so it only makes
Right,
sense
right.
to see him again.
Yeah, no kidding. He's interesting. I find him incredibly interesting. I want to know more about him. And I think he does a great job with helping push Jade's story forward.
Mhm.
And Jade is such a badass character and so cool. And when I first read the first scripts where he thought it was an advanced what's it called game where it's all fake and fake actors, I said, oh, this is great, but if they push this too long, it's going to be weird. And they pushed it just enough, and then he finds out the truth when he sees his dead buddy. And Jade's evolved into such a cool character. So to be able to play Tom and be kind of close with Jade, I think is what a cool opportunity for myself personally, and for those characters. I think they work well. So, you know, I'm not trying to sound like I'm advocating here, but I think it works well in the show if we see that more, right?
Yeah,
And we've got to know more. Like you said, we got to know more.
right.
There's so much more to unravel. Oh my God.
So, was this your first time playing a ghost or a figment of a dead character?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
And we couldn't help but make the assimilation that it was very similar to the plot line of The Sinner season 4, which you were in,
Yeah.
where Alice Kremmelberg, did I say her
sounds
name
right.
right that time?
You got it.
Her character of Percy was
Percy, yeah, Percy
basically dead the whole time, right?
and she'd pop up. Yeah.
And that was very similar to like the situation we had here with Tom,
Yeah, I never thought of that actually.
a character that has passed.
Yes. Yep.
So we've actually talked about The Sinner before in our podcast. We didn't cover it like episode by episode, but we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, she was the one that actually put me onto the show. Actually, she's the one who put me on to Prom too.
Yeah, that's my role.
I basically had to cram 10 episodes just before the season began so we can do the podcast. It was so
nice.
quite an experience. We were actually doing Quantum Leap.
Right.
Did you watch the show Quantum Leap?
No, now did they do a reboot of that?
They did.
Yes.
They did their
So
revival.
we covered on our podcast the reboot episode by episode, and that's when The Sinner came up because Alice actually appeared in an episode of Quantum Leap.
Oh, cool.
Opposite of Mason Alexander Park's character.
Oh, nice.
So that was how that came up, and I got Dave watching that show, and then we were able to say like, hey, Reid was in that show. That's awesome.
Yeah. How cool is that?
So you were in 3 episodes?
Yeah, the last 3 episodes I played Detective Brooks.
Detective Brooks. He was like a suit that was brought in from Portland to come oversee the investigation.
Come clean this mess up, and I was an adversary to the lead detective, and got to do some really, really cool stuff with Bill Pullman. Man, what a beauty of a person he is too. Getting to work with him was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very curious what it was like working with Bill Pullman because he was actually a favorite character actor of mine.
Oh, cool, man. Cool. Talk about so I have to admit, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but I own it. But as an actor, I'm terrible with actors' names and knowing where people are from. I'm like a video game guy first and foremost, and then with the acting world, I'll recognize a face, but then the names I don't know. So I looked up Bill Pullman, and then of course you look at what he's done. You're like, oh no shit. Well, he's in Independence Day and Casper and so much good stuff over the years. And him on set was so cool. So God, I tell you, Bill Pullman and Harold Perrineau, look, I haven't worked with too many awesome names, very experienced, talented, wonderful people, but that's got to be the top echelon of really salt of the earth, just beauty people inside and out. So I consider myself very lucky to have those experiences back to back. And Bill, man, so remember, I'm showing up and we all got that actor anxiety, whether we admit it or not, but we keep it quelled. And I'm in the makeup trailer trying to be personable and be myself best I can and relax. And Bill walks up while I'm getting makeup on, and he looks at me, and he's got a look, right? He does it in the show, and he's like, you Reid, right? Playing Brooks, yeah, man. Welcome to the big machine, Reid. Welcome to the big machine. And he sits down beside me, he gets his makeup on, and from that moment on, we had wonderful conversation, and all of his energy was about making sure I was informed and making sure I was comfortable. So he's letting me know everything works. And then when we were on set later, he was walking me around and he's like, oh, come here, let me show you here. And then down the street, there's the food truck. Let's go see the food truck. And he brings me up and he's like, hey, Colin, this is Reid. He's playing Detective Brooks. And he's showing me the truck and he's like, see, we got peanuts here and we got Ritz crackers, we got soup there. And if you want the jelly beans, we got that there. We got everything here, man. And I'm like, holy smokes, you're the nicest guy on the planet. And then we film our first scene and they finish on my coverage. And thank God it went really well. And we were at a interrogation type setup. And at the end of that particular scene, Bill's character walks away. And so I'm left by myself for a second. And so when the director yells cut, he yells cut, turn around, which you always want to hear, turn it around. We got that particular angle, that particular shot, turn it around. And I remember having a moment with myself being like, okay, yeah. And I looked up and I looked over and Bill was right there, like 20 feet away. And he was looking at me. He just goes, yeah, man, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And we just had a kind of silent cheers. And it wasn't because I was not expected to do well. It was just good damn energy, man. Fun, good. Man, that man was working his ass off and still had that energy to give me that positivity. And I'll remember that forever. It was a really nice moment. And then
That's awesome.
By the end, it really is so cool. By the end, I had the guts to ask him for a photo, and I was like, it's my last day. Can I get a picture with you before the days? Do you mind, man? Do you mind? I really don't do that. And he said, yeah. He's like, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. He's leading me outside, finding the right lighting and the right spot. And somebody grabbed the camera and snapped some pictures with us. I'm like, man, you're so nice. What a beauty. Just a beauty person. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to talk about how great Bill was. I probably ran on a little bit, but that
Oh, no. It's great. It's great to hear.
Yeah, to be like that, help you settle in means the world. It means the world. Yeah, so good.
Speaking of which, you actually shared a scene with your From co-star Scotty McCord.
Oh yeah, talk about.
Did you actually meet him during the Sinner?
Yes, I did. Now Scotty's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he's just like, when people got great hearts, and this is just a beautiful person inside and out. I did get to meet Scott on The Sinner, and Victor quickly on From is probably my favorite character. As soon as I saw him walking into the woods, that one scene with little Ethan, when he's like, I don't know, they had to explore something, and he had this gait and this walk, and he was kind of bow-legged, and I looked at that choice, and I said, this guy's good, man. And it wasn't even his speaking, right? It was how he carries himself. And I have a 3D animation background, and we talk a lot about when we were learning about how posture is everything. You can change so much about how somebody is perceived based on their posture, hunching their shoulders forward, putting it straight up, or how their arms dangled. And I saw the choices he made there with the character, and I said, I love this guy. And then empathy grew for Victor right away, and his character has really grown and become more and more intriguing. And Scotty is crushing it. I wanted to say that because it means a lot to me. That's the moments when I'm a real big fan of the show too, And I did see him on the set of The Sinner, and it was a scene where he was in the kitchen, and spoilers coming. He was shot in the kitchen, and I have to make an arrest on the lead detective, and we actually didn't work together within the scene, even though we were all in the same world within those shots, but we got to chat outside a lot. And that was my first time really chatting with Scott. And what a nice guy, man. I said, I hear you're doing a great job on From, because my girlfriend works on From, and she gets to talk to a lot of the actors every day, of course, her doing makeup. And Scotty's just such a salt of the earth beauty. And she had told me in passing, like, Scotty's so great. He's so great. He's looking forward to seeing you on set of The Sinner. And I said, oh, he is? That's nice. And then when I talking to him, I'm like, I could tell that was genuine. It's so nice. We had such a nice little chat. And I said, I hear you're doing great on From. He's like, oh, it's awesome, man. It's great to hear. And, we talked actor talk. I won't reel too much, but it's about choices we make and how we want to do and how we want to do them great and figuring it out and all that stuff. And it was really nice, insightful conversation. So getting to talk with Scott and just me being in a position to be working on 2 big shows was cool enough. And then to see a guy like Scott on both sets was like, man, we're doing good, bud.
You know who else popped up on the center, which I noticed recently when I was reviewing the episodes for this interview, is I also happened to see the guy who played Reggie on From, like Scott Bay. Like I was like totally surprised. I didn't recognize him until
you messed up the first letter of each word. Now I'm gonna mess it up. Zach Fay.
Zach Fay. Yeah,
that's awesome. Scott Bay. That's almost a baseball player's name. Yeah, Zach Fay.
Yeah, I do have a tendency to do that.
That's why it's got to be in the notes.
Right.
If it's not in the notes.
I'm actually surprised I didn't refer to you as Tom like 5 times. Did I do that?
When we first opened, before we started recording, you said, "Hi, Tom." That was your first word.
Yeah, I'm good for that. I thought I'd do that at least 10 times during this interview.
Man, no problem. I embody Tom. I feel like I'm Tom sometimes, so I don't mind at all.
So going back to Tom.
Oh, wait one second. I wanna
Sure.
I want to say a moment how great Zach Fay is, and that role he did in The Sinner, which he did so great, because it's a bit of a reveal what his character is. More spoilers, and I've worked with him before on a movie called Donner Dad the Tractor, and I got to know him just a little bit, and you get to meet his kid, and he's a great guy, and I thought he did so great on The Sinner, and then I saw him pop up in From. And I really thought the way he played that role, I thought like this character is like quirky, maybe eccentric, maybe he's in a hell of a situation. But I just want to say really briefly, I thought the way he played that was really interesting. I thought the choices he made were really commendable. And I thought, I don't want to say it took courage. I don't think anybody could play that quite the way Zach Fay played that. Particularly when he was ringing the bell, and he's walking in and he pushes Ellis out of the way while he's freaking out. And I thought, man, Zach Fay, that was really cool, man. I thought there was really interesting choices. Nobody else could have done that quite like that. Which
there were some elements of the fandom that thought that he was over the top in that scene. I happen to disagree, and I defended him on the podcast. I thought that was really well done, in my opinion. So
yes, and that's what I liked about it. That's the choice that I liked about it. That moment could have been forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
He made it really cool and really unique, and you can't do that by accident. You know, I thought it was really cool, and that's me learning more and more about acting and being an actor. It's not to everybody's taste, right? Acting's all about choices. You have to get lucky and make the right choices that the director likes on that day, that the sound people like on that day, so they're recording you right, that the camera people like, so you're not blocked behind something. You have to make choice, and that the audience is going to like. And it's not necessarily about it's about intrigue, memorability, all those things. So I think to make those choices was bold in a really cool way. Like, that's an actor doing some acting, man.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tom's bartender.
Yeah.
You also play a bartender in Sullivan's Crossing.
Yes, I do. Yes.
So Sullivan's Crossing, let's see, it aired the first season in Canada already. It's coming to us in the US in the fall, on the CW, right?
Yeah, CW network fall lineup. Yeah, Wednesdays at 8 or 9. We're not sure. No, we're not sure the exact date, but Wednesdays, I think at 8 or 9. Yeah.
Awesome.
Really well there. Yeah.
And it has been renewed for season 2, I saw.
Yeah.
Once things start filming again.
Yes, very soon.
Yeah.
We're geared up.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about Rob the bartender and about Sullivan's Crossing, because we haven't seen it yet.
Oh, cool. I'd love to. I play another bartender, Rob Shandon. He's also a cook, and he runs the diner in Sullivan's Crossing. And similar to From, the diner he runs, called Shandon's Diner, is kind of one of the central points in the show, one of a few. And so people are often in there, the story's progressing in there often when people are having dialogues, conversations, but that's their meetup spot. That's where they get their lunch. And he's a lovable guy. He has a 10-year-old son, and his plot points revolve around his son and also his sister, who is home to help out with the raising of his son and helping run the diner, because poor Rob's wife passed away. So he's a widower. And he is trying to keep it all together. And he's got a rambunctious son who he's finding is getting into a little bit of trouble, more than he should. And Rob needs a lady. Oh my gosh. So he's getting along with that. And, you know, the show is all about heart and family and getting over tough things. And yeah, Shandon's Diner is where everybody meets. And it's so cool to play another character where your kind of location is pretty strong point of the show. And Sullivan's Crossing is great. My girlfriend calls it her new favorite show. That's because it's newer than From, but her new favorite show. And man, let me tell you how cool it was to be able to watch for the first time in my life, for sure, 2 new shows airing on Sundays. So we get to see new episodes of things that we were a part of filming. And so cool. And the show is doing very well in Canada. I believe it's the #1 drama in Canada right now. I honestly think it's only going to grow. It's so well received. I have so much friends and family and random people telling me that they are enjoying it and loving it. And Nova Scotia looks beautiful in it. We shoot here as well. And I love Halifax and Nova Scotia. It's so great. And now it's coming to the States, and it's only set to grow more. I think it's going to do so well, just like From, but different network and different thing. And it's the same writer as the writer Robin Carr, who did Virgin River, and Virgin River was a massive success on Netflix. So we're hoping for, I don't know, half of that would probably be great, but let's keep her going with From and Sullivan's
The first time I'd actually ever heard of Sullivan's Crossing was something you posted on social media, and I was like, oh, what is this? Let me look it up. And reading the description, that was my thought, is, oh, this sounds kind of like Virgin River. And then when I dug a little deeper, I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's the same author, and I even saw it's got some of the same creative people working on the productions.
Yes, it does. Yep, Roma Roth was a mainstay with Virgin River, and now she's doing Sullivan's Crossing, and she's been great at the helm of concocting this show and writing for this show and show running for this show and executive producing. Oh my God, that woman's a superhero, and growing it. So yeah, some same people, some same actors too. Yeah.
So, having played a bartender now on both these shows, do you have any real world experience with that? Have you ever worked as a bartender?
No, I never have. I was a bar back. That's as close as I got to it. I grew up, my first job was working at the Keg. I was a dishwasher and then a busboy, and then I bar backed sometimes. And then I was a guest appreciation manager. They gave me a made up name to make sure everybody was happy while waiting for a table. But so I've worked around a bar for years, but never at a bar. And I'm a simple kind of drink guy. I used to enjoy my beer, and now I like my rum and Coke more. So nice and simple. So if I was behind the bar, you'd be getting simple shit, just like the potato vodka.
Can you give me a White Russian?
Yeah. A Tom's version of it. If it was me personally, I would actually have to Google the exact ingredients, but I know most of it. And if it was Tom, he'd be like, White Russian. Why don't you get out of here and come back in again? And I'll
try again.
Your way.
Try again. They do have milk.
Okay.
You got that much.
Yeah.
Milk, vodka, right? Is there a little bit of chocolate in that? No.
Kahlua.
Yeah.
Kahlua, yeah. This reminds me of my wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Dave was man of honor in my wedding, in place of me having a maid of honor. And our bartenders that we hired didn't know how to make a White Russian. They were like, no, we don't have that. I had to go over and be like, yes, you do. I bought the ingredients. They're there.
So
Stacie actually has some bartending experience making that one drink.
Nice. Came through. On the set of Sullivan's Crossing, one of our early bar scenes, the lead actress Morgan Cohan she was a bartender for years in Vancouver.
Oh, really?
And she was showing me how to pour a shot like kind of properly. Not that I was doing a horrible job, but she was showing me how to show it. You just do this and you get a little wrist, that and this. And I tried it a couple times. She's like, nah, it's okay.
I wouldn't make for a very good bartender either. I just end up spilling everything everywhere. So
yeah,
it wouldn't work out.
If you watch in From, I spill a drink a couple times over the course of a couple of different scenes. So I got it in me to be a sloppy bartender for sure.
All right. So for our Canadian listeners, where can they catch Sullivan's Crossing to catch up on season 1?
They can watch Sullivan's Crossing on CTV.
Okay.
They can download if they don't have cable, they can download the app and watch it for free on there. It's wonderfully accessible. And if you have Crave TV, which is a really great streaming network up here, I doubt you guys haven't heard of it up here. It used to be the movie network up here that play all kinds of great movies forever. Now it's called Crave TV. I'm pretty sure I got that right. You can watch it on Crave TV too. You can stream it there. So yeah, that's CTV, and you can download the app, watch it for free, or Crave TV.
Right. And those of us in the US will be able to watch it in the fall on CW.
Yes. Make sure you watch it. It's different than From, but it's
Oh.
cool, man.
Oh, we will.
We'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
So
it's heartfelt. It was good. It's totally different, but good. It's romantic drama, but it's got a lot of heart. It's sweet. Yeah.
So who's your favorite bartender? Tom or Rob?
Oh, what a question. Okay, I'm really thinking about this. I don't want to give you guys a corny answer. Oh man. Hopefully nobody gets me in trouble. I think Tom, I think I like Tom better because of I think the philosophy stuff is so cool. His philosophy background and his situation is unparalleled. So that's just talk about some crazy intrigue. And what's this guy's background, man? How did he fully become who he is? How did he survive, and how did he become not jaded, in my opinion, but grounded within this town, accepting, humbled by it? I find Tom so interesting. So Tom, I would pick my favorite if I had to call it favorite. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to salvage anything, but Rob's cool too, man. He's cool. He's down to earth. He's cool. Everybody likes him. There's a lot of empathy for him, which is interesting and cool on screen because his poor wife passed away and he's trying to figure out how to raise his kid. He's being rambunctious and he's got a lot of get up and go in him by running this diner, and you're just pulling for this guy, man. He's a good guy that deserves it all. So you really back him. It's nice to play somebody with like a kind heart and very human. He gets frustrated with his sister sometimes, and they have to have some conversations about her, her being a little too kind to the little boy when I'm trying to do, the fathering. But he's a very real, very relatable guy. So I really enjoy playing them both, honest to God. But oh my God, Tom, what a guy and what a situation! Like, freaking cool.
Yeah. So we need more Tom. That's our
Right,
that's
absolutely.
our consensus.
Yes.
Yeah. Powers that be.
We agree.
We want to see more of Tom in the future.
I'm sure they're gonna watch this and they're gonna listen to us and they're gonna get you in there more. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's get it. I'm ready. I'm always ready.
In addition to your acting career, and you mentioned this a little bit, you're also involved in video game development.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Sure. Yeah, I've done video game development. I've said I've been involved with video game development for 15 years now, probably for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's probably a little more. I keep always saying 15 years. I don't know what's true now. But yeah. So I went to school for fine arts, and then I went to postgraduate school for 3D arts for production. And I'm telling you, being in school for art was cool as hell, man. So many great memories and experiences. And then being in school for 3D art for video games, I was like, this is it, man. This is what I wanted to do for a long time. I always had a deep interest in games since I was a kid. I'd play sports and I'd draw all the time and play video games. So to be in school learning that was cool. And then to get hired was cool. I ended up working in Quebec at first, but had an interview in Los Angeles, or just north of Los Angeles, in Camarillo, California, and had one just north of Boston and Andover, Mass. And yeah, I've worked in the industry for a long time as an artist, and right now I'm a studio head and a creative lead, and I do sound and music and 3D art, and I write now these days, and I'm a man of many hats that does a lot of things decently, if I'm being nice to myself.
So if you need a voice actress, I said I told her I would do this.
Yeah.
I happen to know a award nominated voice actress that would love to work with you in Carla Mack.
Carla Mack. How do you spell her last name?
Mack.
Mack, Carla Mack. Cool.
Yep.
You never know, man. We just finished a project where we had to use our most voice actors we ever did by far. We hired about 17 or 18 people. So you never know. You never know, Carla Mack. and we're looking for the best all the time.
It's
man.
funny because you actually talked to her brother, Russell Sutherland.
Oh. Russell.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, she tells me that you guys talk a lot.
Oh, Russell Sutherland. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I need more dot connected there. I must know him, but I'm so bad with names. The worst on the planet. But but I believe it if it's so.
All right, so I think we're out of questions, but
Yeah.
we want to give you the opportunity to plug anything that you want to plug.
Yeah. Anything else you're working on, or you want people to check out, or what else is going on in your world? I know we covered a lot of things.
Yeah, you guys did a great job with that, and you asked a lot of great questions. I really appreciate this. Yeah, first and foremost, I appreciate you guys being fans of the show.
Oh, absolutely, we're big fans.
It's great.
She was a fan from the beginning. I'm more of a Johnny come lately, but I love this show. I love talking about it. And I definitely appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. And I'm glad I have the time and able to do this. And you guys make the show kind of happen in a sense, so your guys' passion means a lot. And I'm just a little old Tom in the show, so I don't mean to make it too grandiose, but I know everybody involved with the show really appreciates people like you and all the fans so much. So good stuff. And I gotta say, what I'm working on, video game stuff, check out Project Dark. We released that recently. It's an audio-driven game. It's a game you can play with your eyes closed. It's a choose your own adventure, 6 different episodes, vastly different fun stuff. And your choices mean a lot, but you get immersed in this binaural sound effects that I made for the most part, and wonderful voice acting, wonderful stories from a writer named Akash Sherman. So that's available on all kinds of platforms, cell phone, Nintendo Switch, Steam on the computer. So that's Project Dark. The company I work for in video games called Red Meat Games. There's lots of other games we got out. Egg's a fun one. You roll egg down a hill, and Bring to Light's a cool explorative puzzle game we did years ago, and it's on VR as well. And Sentience is a cool online game you could play, and that we did free to play online. And yeah, check out Sullivan's Crossing. Keep on loving and watching and shouting from the mountaintops about From. And yeah, if you're Canadian and you have Bell TV, check out King and Pawn. We just finished season 2. I'm a lead guy in that show, which is such a cool opportunity. It's fun, quirky, goofy thing. My dad passed away in the show, and I was left his pawn shop and all kinds of riprap I got to deal with that. So that's on Bell TV. And I'm going on way too long. I'm probably forgetting something, but I think I've said enough anyways. Unless you got another half hour.
No, I mean, we do. I mean, we really have all day, but
I like to work on a lot of things, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. It seems like you've got a lot of hats.
I do. I'm one of those hat guys, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It keeps me going. Like, yeah, sometimes I look back at all the different things I've tried that have led me here, and I'm like, man, you try everything, man. Where did that come from? It's just, I don't know, something about philosophy. Tom would probably have some insight to what it is.
all right, you have any other questions?
I think that's all I got. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much
yeah.
for taking the time out to
Absolutely.
talk with us.
Yeah, it was great having you. You said a lot of great things. It's definitely a great interview, so we definitely appreciate having you on.
Awesome. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me. I certainly did.
Oh, absolutely.
And I hope everybody enjoys listening. And thanks so much, guys.
All
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, Tom.
Cheers.
Reid.
I like it.
Well, that was our interview with Reid Price, who I mistakenly, of course, referred to as Tom a couple of times.
The intro and the exit, so it lines up.
There was a nice little symmetry, I think. You said a lot of great things. That was definitely enjoyable.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Reid, for taking the time to hang out with us, and we loved having you.
Absolutely.
And if you want to tell Morgan, we'd love to have her on as well. Get some insights about what it's like working behind the scenes with this cast. That'd be awesome.
All right, Stacie can be reached at.
I can be reached on Twitter and Instagram, and now Threads at TVN Coupon Talk.
And if you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join my Korman Productions Facebook page. You can buy something from the Korman Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee, which is a new way to support content creators such as myself. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to our channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Korman Productions, signing off.